Hello and welcome to the Tweetcore Radio Hour. I'm your host, Marc Schuster, and I invite you to join me on my ongoing quest to seek out great new music, independent artists that we discover together in the far reaches of the social media universe.
Come a little closer and let me read you a story. It's called My Inheritance, My Heritage. Hey, come here. He invited me into the bathroom, where he reached high in the medicine cabinet and pulled down an old tube of toothpaste. It was rolled up from the end, bunched and compacted, and resembled a snail. He unscrewed the cap and handed me the gnarled tube. "Squeeze some out," he said. I tried, pressing my thumbs, but nothing emerged. "There's not any left." He frowned. "Sure there is. Come on, kid, take some." So I tried harder. I pressed and squeezed and worked the tube till my finger joints felt as if they would snap, but nothing came out. He held out his hand, shaking his head as I returned the tube. "You can always get a little more if you try hard enough," he said. "It's a question of attitude." With his big thumbs, he began to massage the tube. He pushed. He kneaded. "I've used this one all my life, and my father used it before me. His father, too. Some things." He paused, and his face reddened as he bore down, and suddenly a minuscule aqua squib emerged. "Are eternal." With his fingertip, he wiped off the squib, displayed it in the air as if for a larger audience, and then slowly, deliberately brought the fruit of his efforts to the tip of his tongue. It disappeared. "Someday," he said, "this tube will be yours too." Traces of blue were visible on his teeth, as if he had bitten off a piece of the sky. Laurel and Hardy have sex with powder-faced ladies in polka-dot dresses. Model A Fords say, "Toot toot, toot toot, toot toot, toot toot." Laurel and Hardy have sex with their potting shed overalls undone. "Oh, Ollie, Ollie, Ollie!" "Stan, you're the man. Stan, you're the man. Stan, you're the man. Stan, you're the man." Laurel and Hardy have sex with politicians and priests and parking lot attendants, and gee, it really feels right. Toot toot, toot toot, toot toot, toot toot. Laurel and Hardy have sex with sinewy beauty and soft flesh beauty, and who was that behind the bookshelf in the home improvement section? Toot toot, toot toot, toot toot, toot toot. Laurel and Hardy have sex with not a penny in their potting shed overalls. "Oh, Ollie, Ollie, Ollie!" "Stan, you're the man. Stan, you're the man. Stan, you're the man. Stan, you're the man." Toot toot, toot toot, toot toot, toot toot. Laurel and Hardy have sex during a job interview, and afterwards feel that it did not go badly. Toot toot, toot toot, toot toot, toot toot. Laurel and Hardy have sex with their seatbelts fastened and their tray tables secured and their seats in the upright position, and it adds an extra piquancy. Toot toot, toot toot, toot toot, toot toot. Laurel and Hardy have sex with an algorithm that frankly didn't see them coming and was so overwhelmed that it broke into sobs of relief and asked to be held, "Please, just a little longer." Toot toot, toot toot, toot toot, toot toot. Laurel and Hardy have sex inside a bumping Trojan horse, and the creaking wheels drown out their cries. "Oh, Ollie, Ollie, Ollie!" "Stan, you're the man. Stan, you're the man. Stan, you're the man. Stan, you're the man." Laurel and Hardy have sex on a breakaway ice floe with penguins in attendance under a roiling, inflamed sky. Toot toot, toot toot, toot toot, toot toot. Laurel and Hardy have sex with someone in dreams who appears, so it seems, like you. Toot toot, toot toot, toot toot, toot toot. Laurel and Hardy have sex. 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 Model A Ford say, toot toot, toot toot, toot toot, toot toot.
I walked into a bar and there, sitting on a stool, was my former self. I had not expected to find me there, but there I was. Nor had it occurred to me to ask myself any questions, since I had already been me. But maybe I remembered something I had forgot. Given the opportunity, it made sense to have a conversation with myself. But what would I ask? What would the past tell me about who I am right now? All these years older, what do you get? I hope not colder nor full of regret. When your thoughts go crooked, what do you forget? Did you break free from your fate, your kismet? As I sat next to me, I noticed next to me a shadow. I wondered, was this my shadow or that of my former self? Or was my shadow independent of my past or present? And as I wondered this, I could hear my shadow saying, as you get older with all that you see, is it all a reflection that points back to me? The thoughts that you have, are they really free? Are you chained to yourself, to your own history? It was all curiouser and curiouser. I wondered at my shadow and my former self. Were they really me? If I was them, it would stand to reason that they were me. But how could that be, since one part seemed hidden and elusive, the other somehow not me, because it did not know all the things I would come to know, the things that make me now who I am. So how could that be me? I must admit it was a bit confusing attempting to reconcile these different aspects of myself. As I sat more confused than ever, I noticed another figure, older, and recognized a glimmer of something that could be me. It must be the future me. But then more questions. Was this me even more than me, since it would experience even more? I wondered, was this me set, or could I turn out somehow different? What would I know, and if things changed, where would that knowledge go? Is all of the future chained to the past with changes you make, but that truly last so much that could be? You truly won't know. What do you hold on to? What do you let go? I wondered at the nature of this situation, wondered how my memories of the past, the parts of me hidden, and what I imagined could all converge at this moment. Was who I am just a convergence of past, future, and shadow? Or were they just constructions of my mind attempting to put my life into a story? That the past and future, my shadow, did not exist independently. They're creations stemming from one moment, creations of the present in this one moment. And then, only then, did I have that drink.
You were in the audience for the Bees show recently, is that right?
Yes, I was. I was lucky enough to be at the Grape Room last Friday night, seeing Bees, and they played with the Hollow Truths from Maryland, Unlucky Mammals, Wisher, and the Don Pretty Show, who I did not get to see the Don Pretty Show. They played last. It was very late into the night, and I had to unfortunately get home because I was running on like 3 hours of sleep and I was getting a little delirious. I was like, yeah, I got to drive like 40 minutes home. So I think I'm going to have to head out. But yeah, it was an amazing show. Probably the best set I saw from Bees so far. Their new drummer is great. It was like a really, really good turnout. The whole place was packed and they pretty much had the whole place like shouting Bees. Like, so it was really cool to see that. Yeah, it was a great night. Unlucky Mammals were awesome. I got to meet them. We had been like interacting on Twitter for probably like about a year now. Got to meet them. And the Hollow Truths are a cool band from Maryland. Actually, their singer, Brett, he does a lot for like the Maryland scene. He hosts a podcast too called Part-Time Rockstar, and he tries to put like festivals on. And he had one in Lancaster actually in September that I played at. So he's a good dude. So it was a good time all around.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was going to ask you about that show that you did in Lancaster. How was that one?
That was a lot of fun. It was a lot of bands. So it was like everyone did kind of short sets, like 25 minutes or so. I played at the outdoor stage. There was an indoor stage and an outdoor stage at a place called Phantom Power. A really good time. Wasn't like a huge crowd, but that's okay. It was made like some connections with some new people there, and yeah, had a blast.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of what we do as indie and underground musicians. It's not like, you don't go to a gig expecting to see a ton of people, but the people you do see, you're expecting to get what you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. And like, I think you and I might have even, it might have been you I was talking about this with at the show we played in October, but I think one of us said like, these shows aren't really like about getting a big audience. They're kind of about the experience and having an event to talk about and like a memory to live on. And
yeah. And I think I was also saying that it's almost like the event itself is just something to give you something to look forward to and something to look back on. And even in terms of, say, just being able to talk about what you're doing musically, like, hey, I have a show on this date and it's going to be awesome. And then when you're done, hey, I had a show the other day and it was awesome.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. That's a much more eloquently put way of what I was trying to say.
So the Grape Room, that was in Manayunk.
Yeah, I thought it was a really cool place. There was definitely like, you could tell it was very separated by like the bar crowd that usually frequents there and then the crowd who was there for the music. But I honestly thought the bar crowd kind of got in on it, especially when Bees played, because the whole place, it seemed like they had their eyes glued to them, and it was really cool to see that. So,
well, Mike Huff's the kind of guy, it's hard to not notice Mike Huff of Bees.
For sure. In a good way.
Yeah, in an excellent way. I mean, he can get a crowd going. I mean, he could go into a bar, no one knows who he is, and 5 minutes in, everyone knows who he is.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he just like demands your attention. It was awesome.
And a nice guy.
Absolutely, a great guy.
Turn me on, just a little bit. Turn me up, I can't feel it. What's a little more? Just a degree. Unless it's at my door, why does it matter to me? What's a little more? Just a degree. When it's at your door, it's too late to see that the water's been boiling this whole time, degree by degree.
So excited to do everything while waging wars on my intentions. It's easy to lie to yourself when you're having so much fun. When you're having so much fun.
up all the heretics. Welcome to the age of information, where no one bothers with the annotation. This is the end of the Enlightenment. 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 This is the end.
That was Socratic Meathead by Unlucky Mammals. We've played that one a few times here on the Tweetcore Radio Hour, but since Scoopski mentioned them, I figured I'd play them again. Our good friend Scoopski, chatting with him about a show we saw recently. That show included Bees, another favorite of ours here at the Tweetcore Radio Hour. The song we just played was Hot Frogs by Bees. Now, I've said in the past that when you say bees, you have to shout it. You have to shout bees. But the other interesting thing to keep in mind is when you're searching for bees on your favorite streaming service, make sure you write bees ! Because you might see another couple of other bands with bees in their names. As soon as you put that exclamation point in there, you're getting Bees from Philly. Between those two bands, we heard The Walls by the Hollow Truths. That's a really cool song. I'm really starting to like the Hollow Truths a lot. We played one of their songs last week at the behest of our good friend Scoopski. I mean, he behested us and we listened. Because that's what we do here at the Tweetcore Radio Hour. We listen to your behests. And I'm glad we do, because that was a super cool song. Listening to it, the vocal really calls to mind Beck. Puts me in that mid to late 90s frame of mind. Which, to be fair, I'm usually in anyway. But again, you heard Bees with Hot Frogs, you heard The Hollow Truths with The Walls, and you heard Unlucky Mammals with Socratic Meathead. Now, at the top of our show, you heard some interesting stuff. You heard a very short story by my good friend Charles Holdefer. His latest book, which you should definitely check out, is called Don't Look at Me. And here's what that's about. When an ex-basketball star discovers lost love letters from Emily Dickinson to an unknown Irish lover, she finds herself in the middle of today's battles over American culture and trust in a nation still divided by war. That first piece we heard, though, that was called My Inheritance, My Heritage. And that appears in Charles Holdefer's book, Dick Cheney in Shorts. It's a collection of very short pieces, very entertaining, very funny. Charles is a very funny guy, very wry wit, as you can imagine, based on that second piece. That one was called Laurel and Hardy Have Sex. That one appeared in his book, Agitprop for Bedtime, which, as you can imagine, is an inventive collection, once again, of very short stories with a bit of a political bent. Obviously, from that piece, you can imagine, and you could guess, Charles Holdefer is not one to shy away from poking fun at sacred cows, as it were. And since we were on a bit of a spoken word roll, I figured, hey, why not play this nifty song by the Star Crumbles? That one was called Past, Present, and Future Walk Into a Bar. It Was Tense. That's on our album, The Ghost of Dancing Slow. Brian Lambert giving a pretty cool deadpan delivery about his adventures, meeting his past, present, and future selves. I suppose his present self meets his past and future selves. In any case, as Brian says, it was tense. That was Won't Say Rabbit with I Need More, channeling a bit of an 80s vibe. We've heard them before. Also, I'm hearing a little bit of Susie and the Banshees, perhaps, just a tiny bit. In any case, the reason I played them, I was thinking about bees and how if you're going to look for them online, you have to put the exclamation point so you don't get the wrong bees band. And that reminded me of Won't Say Rabbit, because their workaround with that whole thing was, well, we want to use rabbit in our name, but there might be some other bands with rabbits in their name, so we won't say rabbit. Now, speaking of bands with interesting names, the Wends, spelled W-E-N-D-S, that's who we heard before Won't Say Rabbit. And if you're wondering what the Wends means, the word Wends means frustration, that you're not enjoying an experience as much as you should, even something you've worked for years to attain, and you feel as if your heart had been accidentally demagnetized by a surge of expectations. That is according to Wends lead singer Hamilton Santia. I believe I'm saying that name correctly. I'll be running an interview with him on the Abominations blog on December 12th. He's a really interesting, smart, well-read guy, so definitely check out that interview. Again, it's scheduled for December 12th, and that will be on the Abominations blog. The address there is marcschuster.wordpress.com. And another band we're actually going to be hearing from on that blog is Orchid Mantis, who we heard just before the Wends. Another band with a cool animal reference in their name. I love that wobbly lo-fi sound that they have, and also their use of found sounds. So definitely looking forward to interviewing them on the blog as well. So if you're trying to keep track of who we just heard from, we started with Lightweight by Orchid Mantis. Then we heard What a Heart Is For by the Wends. And then I Need More by Won't Say Rabbit. Up next, Fendahlene.
Smiling Photoshop face with a promise they know I can't refuse. Staring back from the billboard, reminding me how lucky I am to be in. 3 girls pass on by just like the ones who went before. Looks like they spent a big to look the
red tail lights, the pulse of the city streets. Feels like you're locked in a pattern, just climbing a ladder. Everything is routine. You wonder who you're meant to be. Is it all just a waste of time? Is there more further on up the line? There's no point waiting around, there's only here and now. We've got today, who knows about tomorrow? Who cares what they expect? Let's just live instead. We've got the rest of our lives to get old. We could talk till the sun comes up, making plans for whatever may come. But in the future, who wins and who loses, it's all just a game. Not every great song will get sung. Don't keep me waiting around. Don't leave me alone in this town. There's no point waiting around, there's only here and now. We've got today, who knows about tomorrow? Who cares what they expect? Let's just live instead. We've got the rest of our lives to get old. It all seems worlds away, so far from where you thought it would be. We'll never know how far we can go if we never even try. Spend your life looking back at what could have been done differently. But there's no use in regret, you can't second guess where things might have led. It was all meant to be. There's no point waiting around, there's only here and now. We've got today, who knows about tomorrow? Who cares what they expect? Let's just live instead. We've got the rest of our lives to get home. There's no point waiting around, there's only here and now. We've got today, who knows about tomorrow? Who cares what they expect? Let's just live instead. We've got the rest of our lives to get home.
A couple of songs by a band called Fendahlene. That first one was called Cookie Cutter Life. That was followed by Here and Now. If that first song sounded vaguely familiar, it might be because a little while back, I played a cover of that song by my good friend Chris Triggs, who performs in a band called the La La Let's. So here's what happened. I played that song on the show, and then Chris got in touch with me and said, hey man, you have to listen to the original version of that. I didn't even know it was a cover. And so he tells me, go listen to the original version. It's by a band called Fendahlene. So I go look them up. Man, their back catalog is amazing. They've been together and making music since 1994. And they've been recording loads of music on and off since then. Honestly, I've just scratched the surface with this band. I really want to dig into them a little bit more. Bit of speculation regarding the name. This is just me guessing. I've been a Doctor Who fan all my life. I'm remembering an episode called The Image of Fendal. And the Fendahlene were an alien race of kind of look like slugs, I think. And they would do this psychic invasion and try to take over people. And maybe that's what they're doing with this music. Invading our minds. At least they've invaded my mind, I'll tell you that. But again, that's just speculation. What I think is really cool, though, is just how I discovered them, which is, there's this band that's been around for a while and making amazing music. I hadn't known about them. And then Chris Triggs mentions, you really need to check out this band. It's just this word of mouth, which makes me think about how this music we're talking about really is about community. It's really about sharing. It's about just telling one other person, hey, have you heard about this band? You should really listen to them. Check them out. They are awesome. I think you'll like them. All of this is to say, if there's a band that you like, tell your friends about it. Tell me about it. Tell me to look it up. Give me links. I'll check them out. In case you haven't figured it out by now, I'm kind of into music.
To the lashes of her eyes, she grew a rainbow line as she knows, and love follows wherever she goes. Can't you see? She sits there picking daisies one by one to cast the color of the setting sun. She grew a rainbow line, yes she knows, and love follows wherever she goes. Yes, it's true. If you know who knows, won't you say hello? Purple, red, green and blue and yellow. Wherever she goes, please for me. If you notice her, smile and say hello. Purple, red, green and blue and yellow. She picks the purple from the flowering meadow, a touch of green from the terrace hedgerow, purple, red and green and blue and yellow. April showers, so the story goes,
Channeling a bit of 1960s flower power. That was Electric Looking Glass, an album they released in 2021, I believe. The album is called Somewhere Flowers Grow. I believe that was another one of my impulse buys. I bought that one on vinyl, most likely on a Bandcamp Friday. And if you're not familiar with Bandcamp, definitely check them out. Bandcamp.com. This is not paid advertisement or anything. This is me just telling you, if you want to support your favorite band financially, buy their music on Bandcamp. I mean, sure, do all the other things I've been telling you. Play it on Spotify, play it on whatever streaming service you like. Do that all the time. Tell your friends about it. Tell them to stream it. But when you buy music on Bandcamp, especially on what they call Bandcamp Fridays, a lot more money goes to the band. Because let's just say you're streaming your favorite artist on Spotify. They're making 0.4 of a cent every time you stream one of their songs. And that's fine. You know, we're not necessarily in it for the money. However, if you are thinking, hey, I really like this band, I want to show my appreciation for the music they make, for the happiness their music brings to me, buying that song on Bandcamp for $1 means that the artist is going to get most of that money. So we're looking at 0.4 of a cent if you spin the song on Spotify versus, I don't know, 80, 90 cents, whatever they get after PayPal takes their cut if you buy the song on a Bandcamp Friday on Bandcamp. So if there's an album you like, a song you like, a band you like, look for them on Bandcamp. It's really going to help the artist out a lot. Of course, I say all this knowing that probably a lot of the people listening to the show already know all of it, but maybe it bears repeating. And another thought, maybe if you're a musician, you tell a friend of yours about this show, they listen, they hear me say, hey, you should check out your friend's band on Bandcamp and actually pay them for the music. Maybe they will. Might be the nudge they need. Speaking of nudges, actually not really, but speaking of Bandcamp, here's an artist who's on Bandcamp, Eric Linden.
Streets are uneven and sidewalks are heaving, and I don't know what to believe. Street lamp is flickering, sunset is sinking, lights burning up the marquee. But here in the shadows, everything's transposing, it's getting harder to see. So I'll walk you home. The night is bitter and cold, and I'll walk you home. Tonight we won't be alone. Alleyways whistle, shard grass and thistle, trees have let go of their leaves. Bruised and we're battered, mentally scattered, a playlist that plays on repeat. Waxing and waning, look down at the pavement, life happens in the between. So I'll walk you home. But the night is bitter and cold. So I'll walk you home. Tonight we won't be alone. waxes and wanes, keep dulling the pain. Nobody's wondering where I am. A tug on my sleeve, you look at me. I'm left wondering who I am. Streets are uneven and sidewalks are heaving, and I don't know what to believe. Street lamp is flickering, sunset is sinking, lights burning up the marquee. But here in the shadows, everything's transposed and it's getting harder to see. So I'll walk you home, for the night is bitter and cold, and I'll walk you home tonight. Alone. So I'll walk you home. The night is bitter and cold, and I'll walk you home. Tonight we won't be alone.
Very cool track called Walk You Home by Eric Linden. Perfect for these cold nights that are upon us. Looking at the clock, I can see we're almost out of time, so I'll leave you with a nice little holiday tune from our good buddy Scoopski, who joined us in the first half of the show with the Buzz on Bees.
Attention holiday shoppers. Just a reminder that Santa will be leaving the Sears Fort at 9 p.m. and the mall will be closing tonight at 10. 'Tis the season.
I've always been a last minute kind of guy. Fly by the seat of my pants, whatever catches my eye. Look at the calendar, imagine my surprise. The 25th is tomorrow, I've got nothing to hide. But luckily, there's a place for me gonna buy some Fisher-Price toys for my baby boy. A little bling-bling to bring my wife some joy. The loudspeakers keep blasting, deck the hall. I'm playing air guitar on the escalator. Gonna find my dad a vintage Eagle shirt. It don't feel much like Christmas time at all if I'm not spending Christmas Eve in the mall.
Hello again, shoppers. We'll be closing in just 2 hours. Also, the owner of a silver beetle in the lot left your lights on.
The clock is running down and I'm still stuck in this line. That big guy in red must be losing his mind. Garland and wreaths set the scene just right. Rushing around at 8:45. Pretty soon these places won't exist. So while they're here, I gotta cop some ancient relics, like 2, 4, 3 bath bombs, just for mom. Chrissy wants a Pat Mahomes Funko Pop. Jenna is collecting retro dolls. Gonna get that lavender candle for my grandmother. My wallet's in for a world of her, but it don't feel much like Christmas time at all if I'm not spending Christmas Eve in the mall. Some candy for Cindy, a history book for Diane, and Wells Fargo might be a little upset, but look over there, it's a Muppets basketball. Next year, don't be surprised, I'll do it all again. Fools like me never learn lessons, but now I'm in the spirit after all, 'cause I spent my Christmas Eve in the mall. Christmas Eve in the mall. Christmas Eve in the mall. Christmas Eve in the mall.
Attention shoppers, the mall is now closed. Happy holidays!